Coming up on First at 4, we'll have the latest on the Tyre Nichols saga as a sixth officer has been relieved of duty in connection with the violent encounter earlier this month. Plus, some counties are seeing an increase in COVID-19 cases. We talk with Scott Lockard on why that is the case.
Plus, our active pattern continues through the work week, and that could bring with it some wintry weather. The latest on the way as our First Alert Weather Day coverage starts right now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Olivia Calfee. First at 4, we could see some nasty weather later this evening as a winter weather advisory has been put into effect for the majority of the viewing area. Meteorologist Evan Hatter breaks it all down for us in our First Alert Weather Day. Evan?
Well, Olivia, that's right. We continue to watch the potential for rain changing to freezing rain as we head a little bit later on it through tonight. Here's our First Alert Weather Day. The what? Rain showers turning into that wintry mix and freezing rain overnight. When? Well, overnight through tomorrow morning, and then again as we head into our Wednesday morning. Slick spots possible on those roads, especially the elevated surfaces. The winter weather advisory is in effect for everybody except our counties along the Kentucky-Tennessee border, where things look to stay a little bit more like all rain. Southwest Virginia and our East Tennessee counties at this point. So in Kentucky, Wayne, McCreary, Whitley, Knox, Bell, Harlan, and Letcher County is not included in this winter weather advisory. Outside right now, it's quite mild. Mid-50s out there, and that could actually help us a little bit later on, even with some hints of sunshine. There's a new view from UVA-wise. 50 the current reading there at Lonesome Pine Airport. Temperatures starting to tumble to our north and west. We're in the middle and upper 50s region-wide, except in parts of central Kentucky where temperatures are starting to plummet into the 30s. That's what's going to help us change the rain to snow a little bit later on, or at least rain to wintry mix. You see clean sweep on pinpoint Doppler now, but you're already seeing the potential for some of that to reform off to the north and west, and we'll continue to watch that whole threat as we head later on into the night. I'll have the full breakdown in a few minutes. Olivia?
Thank you, Evan. Memphis police confirmed a sixth officer has been relieved of duty in connection with the violent encounter earlier this month between police and Tyre Nichols. 5 other officers were fired and charged with murder. The police department released video of the brutal incident on Friday, and we want to warn you, some of the video is difficult to watch. CBS's Skylar Henry has the latest from Memphis.
There are renewed calls for Washington to pass the stalled George Floyd police reform bill following the violent police encounter with Tyre Nichols in Memphis.
We have to pass George Floyd Justice and Police Act that Congress has to re-engage.
Over the weekend, protesters took to the streets in cities across the country after Memphis police released video of the brutal beating that led to the 29-year-old's death 3 days later.
Tired of black men getting killed by the police, whether they're black cops or white cops, because they're all blue to me. 5 officers involved who were fired are facing multiple charges, including second-degree murder. Memphis police confirmed Monday that a 6th officer, Preston Hemphill, has been relieved of duty since the beginning of the investigation for his role in the incident. Several others who arrived on the scene are also under investigation.
He's there in handcuffs, moaning on the ground, and everybody's walking around nonchalantly like it's business as usual. So it should be accountability for everybody on the video.
A lawyer for one of the former officers told CBS News a thorough investigation must be done. Over the weekend, the Memphis police chief disbanded the Scorpion anti-crime unit the 5 former officers belonged to.
It wasn't set up so that officers can be heavy-handed.
Nichols' funeral service is planned for Wednesday. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Memphis, Tennessee.
The parents of Tyre Nichols have accepted an invitation from the Congressional Black Caucus to attend next Tuesday's State of the Union address. 5 eastern Kentucky counties are in the high category on the state's COVID-19 community levels map. Public Health Director Scott Lockard says COVID cases were up nearly 20% last week in the Kentucky River District. He says we are now seeing people not wearing masks like we once did, and says more people need to get their COVID booster shots.
The hospitalization numbers has been very under control. You know, it's not been overwhelming our healthcare system. We monitor that weekly, and so you know, really looking with that with our healthcare systems, and they seem to be handling it well.
Locator says they are seeing people with respiratory illnesses, but are testing negative for COVID, flu, and strep. He says if you are sick, just stay home. The CDC is making it easier to find a free COVID-19 testing site located near you. The agency has launched a new COVID-19 testing locator website. It is part of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Increasing Community Access to Testing program. There is no charge for the testing at the sites, and it is intended for those who are experiencing symptoms or who have been exposed to the virus. Results are usually provided within 24 to 48 hours. For several years, Kentucky River Community Care has been helping underprivileged adults find housing and job opportunities. But now the organization is focusing on a younger demographic. Today, several Hazard community leaders and KRCC representatives gathered to host an open house for KRCC's TAY IPS program. This program focuses on helping young adults from ages 14 to 24 with career exploration and job placement.
We want youth to go to work. We want to reach individuals at a young age to say, let's help with your career. Let's look at a career for you in the community and where that can lead you.
The TAY IPS program will cover Perry and Letcher counties. Officials say this program is the first of its kind across the state, but they hope more communities will be able to offer TAY IPS services in the future. We will have more on this program and the impact it will have tonight at 6. With gas prices on the hike again, every penny counts. So what's the deal when you run into a station that has a certain price on their sign but a higher price at the pump? Drivers are noticing that in some cases, the signs that are posted high in the air to get drivers' attention are lower than what is actually being charged at the pump. It's happening randomly at stations throughout the Midwest, but in Missouri, it caught the attention of state officials who believe it may just be a simple case of individual station employees forgetting to change either the sign or the pump to make sure the prices match.
It's important that folks inside those gas stations do try to, follow a procedure to get those things done, and so that the consumer does see the price on the marquee and it does match the price at the pump. But it certainly does happen. Human error. We're all human.
If consumers believe there's more than human error happening at a station and suspect price gouging, the offices of each state's attorney general will typically be the agency to investigate. A former Kentucky queen has died. Owensboro native and former Miss Kentucky Cynthia Georgeson has died at the age of 70. Georgeson's obituary says she won Miss Owensboro and later went on to win Miss Kentucky in 1970. She then became an actress working on soap operas and landing a starring role in a feature film. Cynthia eventually went on to start her own public relations company. Her memorial will be held in Racine, Wisconsin on Friday.
Well, coming up on First at 4, we've got rain potential out there now, and we could see that frozen precipitation break out a little bit later on tonight and tomorrow night. The very latest coming up after this.